специална загрявка.
Petya छोड़ते हैं petya छोड़ते हैं
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Volleyball Nations League here at Arena Armats. Tonight's match features the national team of Australia and the national team of Russia. First serve is set for 5 p.m. Добър вечер, дами и господа. Добре дошли на срещите от Волейболната лига на нациите в Арена Армеец. Днешната среща ще бъде между националния отбор на Австралия и националния отбор на Русия. Първият сервис ще бъде изпълнен точно в 5 часа. And now we have the official warm-up at the net. А сега следва официална загрявка на мрежата. Да благодарим на доброволците и децата, които подават топките. Нека да ги аплодираме. Те са точно тук до мен. И така, момичета, елате с мен. С тях ще демонстрираме това, което ще се случи днес по време на матча. Тъй като се славим с страхотна публика, заедно с вашата помощ и с наша помощ, ще се опитаме да направим страхотна атмосфера тук в Арена Армеец. Какво ще се случи? Момичета, застанете зад мен. Сега ще освен момичета, които подават топките, ще бъдете и такива, които ще танцуват. Какво правим? Сега ще ви покажа движенията, хореографията на това, което ще се случи, когато имаме страхотен блок в матча. Тогава ще извикам следното нещо. Monster High!
Monster block, monster block, monster block, monster block, monster block, monster block.
Страхотно! Може би да се включите, така както сте седнали горе. Я да ви видя сега на следващото. Когато кажа супер спайк, ще направим следното нещо. Аз ще го казвам тогава, когато има страхотна забивка. И така, готови ли сте? Супер спайк!
Here comes up, 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 here comes up.
Можем да минем малко на тук. Страхотно. Радвам се, че се включихте, а ние продължаваме. И така. Така, минаваме в другия сектор. Сега, ето тук. Продължаваме. Сега ще покажем какво се случва, когато имаме Аз ще извикам следното. Ей!
Hello and welcome to Bulgaria as week 2 of the men's FIVB Volleyball Nations League gets underway. Clayton Lucas here with you in Sofia as we get ready for our feature match. Russia taking on Australia. The two teams arrived earlier and it was Australia off the bus first. Some looking like they're ready to play, others looking like they need just a few more minutes. And as always, the atmosphere in the dressing room before an international match is something special. If you've been there and you've done that, you know what that feeling's like, that buzz of adrenaline before you go into the competition. Teams having a very thorough warm-up before the competition gets underway, before the match gets going. Not only static stretching, there'll be statodynamic stretching and just making sure everything's ready to go. And despite the fact that they are supreme athletes, pretty much every single one of the players competing at this level as Russia make their way off the bus, pretty much every player having to duck to come out. It is a huge Russian team, and some having to duck just a little bit more than others. Every single one of these players at this level of competition will have a small injury, a little nick that they're carrying. That's all part of playing such a high-level sport. An example of that, a little bit of strapping on the knee for Dmitry Muzersky, one of the tallest players, if not the tallest player in volleyball. 2 meters and 18 centimeters. Muzersky, when he stands at the net, has his hands above the net. Earlier on, the players, the captains, met the referee to see who was going to serve, who was going to receive. Australia won the toss and decided to receive. Russia chose the end. Teams then went to those ends to get ready, and the captain signed the score sheet. Harrison Peacock, the captain for Australia and setter number 7. An Olympian from 2012 in London. This is the head-to-head in the World League and the World Cup between these two teams. Russia won 3-0 in 2015, 3-0 in the World League in 2016. These two teams have played each other on 10 occasions, and Russia have won all 10 of them and only dropped 1 set in those 10 matches across all competitions. It's going to be a tall order for Australia, but this could be the time as we have a look at Harrison Peacock, the main man for Team Australia. He's the setter, the player that will be looking to free up the attackers to find a way through this huge Russian block that's going to be before him. He's top 5 at the moment in the VNL for setting statistics. Plays his volleyball in Poland for Bielsko-Biała. Born in 1991, he's 1.92 m, touches 3.53 m, and to give you some perspective of what that means, the net is 2.43 m high. It's about 8 foot, the same height as the crossbar in football, and he's touching just over a metre above that. All these guys are getting heads, shoulders, and in some instances their numbers of their shirts above the height of the net. And that's one player who can do that. There's Dmitry Muzersky, probably one of the greatest players to play for Russia, and a player who transformed Russia's fortunes at the Olympic Games in 2012. They were losing to Brazil 2-0 in the gold medal match. And Muzersky, who plays through the middle in the third set, was transferred into the opposite slot. And the opposite hitter, Mikhailov, who's part of this squad but not here for this, was moved to the outside. And the outside hitter at the time was substituted out. And before we knew it, we had what looked to be 3 middle blockers on court for Russia, with everybody saying, what's going on here? And what actually went on was Muzersky took the game by the scruff of the neck in the opposite slot and turned the game around. Russia winning 3-2 over Brazil to take the gold medal right from under the noses of Giba and co. in one of the most epic games at Olympic Games to date. That was then, this is now. Muzersky is one of only a couple of players from the Olympic Games. In fact, Alexander Sokolov played at the Olympic Games, the libero today, number 9. Muzersky didn't play in 2016, didn't make the squad, he was injured for Rio. And for the Russian team, only Igor Kliuka, number 18, and Igor Kobzar, the captain, number 23, were in the Olympic Games at Rio that are part of this squad. For Australia, 2 players played in London 2012. As I mentioned briefly, Harrison Peacock, the setter, one of them, and the other player, number 18, Lincoln Williams, the opposite hitter. Australia didn't qualify for the Olympic Games in Rio, but it's certainly something they'll be looking to do now under their head coach, Mark Lebedew, former national team player himself, now at the reins for Australia. Very charismatic figure, Mark Lebedew.
Oh, Anthems, sorry.
So the teams have had their warm-up. There are a few protocols still to be observed before we get down to the business of deciding who's going to win this one. It's a best-of-5 set match. For those of you perhaps watching volleyball for the first time, joining us at the VNL and wondering what it's all about. Best-of-5 sets. You play each set to 25 points. You have to win by 2 clear points, and it's rally point scoring. So no matter who's serving, whoever wins the rally gets the point. And if we get to 24 all, we keep going till someone gets 2 clear. And Australia were on the losing end of a huge third set against France in week 1. They lost 34-36 to lose the game 3-0. Australia currently without a win in the VNL, but hoping perhaps that they can change their fortunes around as week 2 gets underway. The team's now out onto court, and we will have the national anthems for both countries before this game gets underway.
Would you please rise for the playing of the team's national anthems? Дами и господа, моля станете на крака за националните химни на отборите. First, the national anthem of Australia. Първи е националният химн на Австралия. And now, the national anthem of Russia. А сега, националния химн на Русия.
It's always a special moment when you have the anthem played out for you and you're representing your national team. Gives you that Mohican net moment. For those of you that have been there and done it, you'll know exactly what that feeling's like. And for now, for these players as well, this high-level competition, no doubt there'll be some butterflies, but it's all about putting those butterflies into order. And 2 people who will be keeping order are the referees in charge for this match. The first ref is Vlastimil Kovar from the Czech Republic. And the second referee is Stefan Grieder from Switzerland. Wish the two referees the best of luck. We'll know if they've had a good game because we won't notice them. Our attention will be on the players who are about to make their way out onto court.
First starters for Australia.
Starting six for Australia are about to come out onto court. Bo Graham, number 1, will be going through the middle. Paul Sanderson, number 4, will be going through the outside. Harrison Peacock, the captain, number 7, will be setting. Number 8, Trent O'Day gets the nod, the other middle blocker. It's Jordan Richards, number 10, who's going through the outside. And it's number 18, Lincoln Williams, who'll be in the opposite slot. The libero, number 11, Luke Perry. That's the team that Mark Lebedew thinks are going to have the best shot at getting the job done here against this rather weak Russian team when you put it into the context of who they could have playing for them. But when you see who they're bringing out onto court, it's still very strong. Going through the outside, number 6, Anton Karpukov. Number 11 is Igor Filipov. He'll be going through the middle. Number 12, Konstantin Bakun, is in the opposite slot. Dmitry Muzersky going through the middle, as expected. Number 18, Igor Kliuka through the outside, another relative veteran and Olympic Games from Rio 2016 player. And number 23, the captain, Igor Kobzar, is setting. And the libero is number 9, Alexander Sokolov. It's still a big team for Russia, even though there's no Grand King, Volkov, Butko, Savin, Mikhailov or Kovalev, or Volvic for that matter. It's a team, though, with the younger players and the novices that are in, that will look to want to impress. This is how Russia are lining up. Bakun, the opposite, Kobzar, the setter. And this is how Australia are lining up. Head coach for Russia, Sergei Shelapnikov, who took over from Alekno after the Olympic Games in Rio. Looking to make a name for himself as a coach of Russia. It's Russia in white serving, Australia in the green and gold receiving. This is week 2 of the FIVB men's VNL. Well, there's a first point opportunity here for Russia. Good defense. Bit of work to do now for Australia. Well, the ball slowed down by the block, and Russia get another go and get block out. Anton Karpukov gets the first point for Russia. Lebedew not too bothered. It's only the first point. He might be a bit bothered later on, though, if it continues in that way. Filipov with the serve. Excellent ball in from Perry. Options for Australia it was, but that was great blocking by Muzersky to slow the ball down. And Australia now have to go at it again, but the ball once again slowed down by Russia's block. Just about kept in play. Good up, but it's free ball now for Russia. Muzersky forced to play it, and then happy to put it on the floor. Muzersky showing his skills. He's not just a big hitting, blocking, serving machine. He can volley as well and pass if required. Fantastic operating height for Muzersky. Always going to be difficult to try and slow him down. Good start this for Russia. 2 points from serving as Filipov goes again. Nice leave, and Australia happy to see that one go long. That sends Peacock back to the serving line. Huge hit. As Russia get the middle going straight away from serve receive. Kobshar now with the serve for Russia. And a terrific hit. Through the right-hand side. Bakun getting that outside of the block and then inside the court as well. Not a good setup from Australia's blockers. So we have our first challenge, which is a system whereby the coaches, if they're not happy with a decision, depending on what those decisions are, they can challenge. And the challenges they can make as to whether the ball is in or out, whether there's been a foot fault from serving, from attacking from the back row, from landing under the net, from a net touch. Leverage just seen himself on the big screen. Was there a net touch here by Russia? No net touch given. Whether or not the ball's hit the antenna. So the first challenge is unsuccessful. That means now that the head coach for Australia has one challenge left in this set. If he gets that one right, should he use it? He keeps it. You can also challenge now whether the ball has hit the floor, as to whether or not someone gets a hand under it. And also, there's the challenge in the joust when two players go up and press on the ball at the same time. Who got the last touch if it then goes out of play? So a couple of new initiatives brought in to have another look at this rather lucky shot through the middle, but it doesn't matter so long as the point is won. Nehemiah Mote with a serve. It's a good serve as well, but still allows Russia to get the middle going. Perry scrambles it back into play. Free ball now, though, for Russia. Three front court options, and it's hammered off the middle again. Muzerski is a key man, and he's proving it. Now, why not? If you've got the biggest option in front of you, and it's working, you're going to keep using it. Kapukov with a decent serve, but that's a really good pass to allow Australia their options, and a first meaningful swing for Williams on the right-hand side of court. No chance at all for Russia in defence, and Mark Leverdew enjoying that one. It's a bit of a throw, but they got away with it. Williams unable to control the ball. He went in a little bit too quickly. Muzerski now back for his first serve of the match. Yet to find his range from the serving line. Another big middle attack from Russia, this time from Vlasov. Russia not really able to take full advantage at the moment. Serving is an issue. Cheap point for Russia. We head into the first technical timeout. Russia leading by 3.
Alright, Moseski, the short angle on the 7, it's a 1, there's a help guy, we have the long ball in position 5. Okay, but we didn't have attack. How can we dig Moseski and not have an attack? Alright, that's the first simple thing. That's only about playing volleyball. Okay, float service. We have to be aggressive and hit the target. Okay, you see what happened? You see how high Vlasov is over both? Okay, that's your serve. That's your fault. Let's go. Let's go.
Fascinating as we have a little look at the action so far from the match. Despite all of the attacks that Russia have had, they're only 3 points ahead. Most of that attacking has come through the middle, just a couple of wide efforts, Bakun and also Karpukov, who've had a swing. It's Kliuka now on the serving line, and that's exactly what Australia are very pleased to see. One of the interesting stats has come out of the first week from the Volleyball Nations League is that float serving, the jump float serve, has actually been more effective than the jump serve. And it's certainly something that Australia are going to look to promote where they can, and if the jump servers they've got will try and make the most of it, and they've done exactly that. Ace serve for Paul Sanderson, and Australia now are back to within 1. Another good serve that stops Russia running their middle. Australia slow it down, needs someone to get it up to have a big swing here. Williams a good chance to do that, and he has done. Great work as well. Australia digging the ball high to the middle in defence, and that means the libero comes in, Perry, pops it out to the go-to man, who wipes it off of the block and into the antenna. Williams gets the point, Australia are level. Talk about target 1 in volleyball. That's a dig or a play that's put to the high to the middle of the court, around about the 3-metre line. That allows the setter to come in and have a couple of options, or allows the libero to come in and make a set, so that the team can then have an attack. Vlasov. Well, hoping that would have come off some fingers. Just going to go down as a straight error from Jordan Richards. He didn't catch the court, and he didn't catch any of the block. Ilya Vlasov once again. And it's the errors that are costing Australia here at the moment. Once again, Russia picking on the front court swing hitter. Williams thinks he's got it in. Russia think it's out. Are they going to have a challenge? They've got only 1 left in this set. It's going to go down. There's an unforced error. No challenge coming. Russia serve again. They lead by 3. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, it was a poor pass, but an even poorer hit from Muzeski, who's completely fluffed it. Well, he won't like that. Unfortunately, Trent O'Day couldn't get out quickly enough to help on the back attack. And there was a big gap then for Russia to go through. If anything, Kobzar did arch his back to show he was going to go behind. Easy to see that from when you're watching as opposed to when you're playing. That's better from Jordan Richards with a decent swing through the outside. Williams now back to serve. Huge serve for Australia. 2 booming aces they've now had in this set. 1 from Sanderson and now 1 from Williams. Marcus Williams recorded 127 km/h serve in week 1, only beaten by Zaitsev of Italy, who recorded 134 km/h, setting a new record for jump serve. Good chance here for Australia to get back level again in this set. Taken brilliantly. Good hang time. And a lovely swing to the line by Richards. Plays his volleyball in Italy for Grottasinolina. Well, that's a great swing to the line. Those of you aspiring outside hitters, or swing hitters, watch how Richards opens up the cross-court angle, and then how he likes to hit the line by keeping his cross-court angle showing, so hitting over his shoulder. Really good technique, and one to copy. Excellent pass. Zazeski always has hands on the ball then, before O'Day did. Not so good that time. Richards is saying he's got that off the block and into the antenna, but then saying to coach, I didn't actually, I did unfortunately get the antenna first. Trying to wipe it off of Bakun, but caught the antenna first, and that means it's out of bounds straight away. Good up by Kliuka, it'll stay in play. Australia come knocking again through Williams. Well, there was a little snatch at that from the libero. Kalashov, he didn't catch it. Timeout called by Australia.
Они делают то, что мы разбирали. Внимание. Давай. Ты уходить. Так, ты сядь, и будет понятно, что мяч в ауте. Давай.
It's a net touch by Australia. And so into the technical timeout we go. Russia reasserting themselves in this set. Richards comes through, and as he lands, he just catches his shoulder in the net. It's Russia still with the lead.
We make the game more complicated than it has to be. Alright, so when we see the ball, we take our best shot. If it hits the block, we play the rally, or something happens. Okay, so we just take our best shot. Alright, the float serve. 3 seams between 5 and 6. I need you to hit that seam because we want the outside hitters to hit it, because every time the outside hitters hit it, we had at least a transition opportunity. The game is really simple, guys.
Wise words from Coach Lebedew. The game is simple, and it's all about scoring. And actually, the key thing in volleyball is a decent serve. You cannot win a game if you can't serve in. You'll never win a match. And even at the top level, if you've got someone who can disrupt the passing unit of the opposition from their serve, then you're going to be in with a good shout, trying to reduce the attacking options of your opposition, and that's what Russia have done. An overpass, the next best thing to an ace, and Russia with an easy put away, extending their lead. Easy one for Kliuka, no chance for Australia. Another overpass, and now Muzeski has a swing at the net. This is worrying, and Australia call their second and last timeout of the set.
Serves that we didn't side out on from perfect reception. So of course they're going to serve harder. We need to keep the ball on our side. Okay, and then you get ready to play. We attack the high parts of the block. Okay, let's go.
The most difficult situation you should find yourself in volleyball is 6 versus 6, a match. It shouldn't be any more difficult than that. So then when you break things down, you go into practice, into training. It should never be more difficult when you have less players on court. Nice work from Williams. And that's the simplicity of volleyball. Good ball in, and then everybody moving to attack at the net. So that puts pressure on the blockers. Kaluka didn't get out wide enough, and a nice swing from Williams. If you can take your eye off the ball during a rally, just watch how a team prepare to attack, and then you'll understand why blockers don't go out or get to someone who's having attack, because they're being pinned by the movement of other attackers. And as a blocker, you have a responsibility to a certain person, as it's middle for middle or outside for outside, and you have to wait, you have to see, because the ball might go to them. Mazeski still struggling with his serving. It's only when the team gets broken by the serve and they're out of system, then it can only go to one place. Suddenly you'll see blockers stacking up on that person, double or triple blocks, particularly in the men's game. Russia getting 4 players moving. Oh, Williams a little late to get to that one. Always good to watch the game from end on as well, if you can, at least during one set or for one set of a match. You'll really appreciate just how quickly these guys move, also how quickly the ball is moved into a position where it can be attacked. Massive block from Vlasov, but he wasn't watching where the ball went. He didn't see the contact and had no idea where it had gone once it hit him. Mazeski, the leading attacker at the moment for Russia. He has 5 points, all from attack. But he has made 2 serving errors, so actually he's only +3. Good blocking. Bo Graham getting up and getting across the net, plays his volleyball for Saint-Quentin in France. In fact, it's really good hang time from Graham. That was almost brilliant, but a carry called against Williams as he played that off of the block. And that was a really good example from, in terms of how Russia were able to put the ball away. Middle came into attack, Graham had to wait in the middle, and then he couldn't get out quickly to help out on the ball that went wide. You have to tip it higher than that to get past the Russian block. Good defense, chance here now. Good D from Perry, but it won't stay in play. Trying to absorb the heat from that ball. Take the sting out of it.
Here comes up. Here comes up. Here comes up. Here comes up.
Kaluka.
Here comes up. Here comes up. Here comes up.
Was a thumping spike. There's been plenty of them so far from Russia. Australia have been doing their level best to play D and to try and keep themselves in the rallies. Kliuka to serve again. Russia 3 points away from taking the first set. Make that 2 points away. Oh, that was a cruel blow as the ball caught the top of the net and changed its trajectory. Easy for me to say. And Paul Sanderson was caught out by that, like catching a bobble in football. That's a much nicer serve from Kliuka, but a great block from Vlasov. And Russia now have set point. The aim of blocking is to get across the net, to get as close to the ball as possible, to close down the angles, and Vlasov did that. Kept in play by Pocock. Perry has to put it up. Williams with work to do. Still in play. Still Australia's trying to stay in this rally, and they have done. Magnificent spike from Paul Sanderson to get that off the block and away. Australia safe first set point. That's a good serve. It's going to be a free ball here for Australia. Peacock comes in, 4 attacking options on a plate by Perry. No, Williams didn't take his chance, but that's much better, as that one is. Max Staples puts the ball away, who's come in for Jordan Richards, and he's just done a great job. Two set points saved. Sanderson again. Another good serve. Another chance here. Has to go behind Williams, the only option. Good up. Bakun. Oh, good work by Williams. Has that stayed in? No, it hasn't, and the first set goes the way of Russia. 25-18. They lead 1-0 here in Sofia. It was a bit of a stop-start performance from Australia in that first set. Russia kept their level throughout. As we have a look at the highlights from the set. Russia were profiting from Australia's errors in that first set, although Russia themselves did make a few, mostly in serving. Australia know they need to convert more of the chances they created in transition and try and stop the likes of Muzerski and Vlasov being able to run the middle. Easier said than done. Well, that's interesting. Muzerski getting a little bit of strapping on his ankle. Whether that perhaps happened during the first set. Nothing that was particularly noticeable. We didn't see him go down or go over. Australia are without Thomas Edgar, their huge opposite attacker, who actually scored 50 points in a match for Australia in the World Cup a few years back. He's been playing his volleyball for JT Thunders in Japan. He's had a 48-point match and a 50-point match for them, helping them through to the national title. But he hurt his ankle at the end of the season and is unavailable for Australia at the moment. It's quite a big loss for Australia. Williams is great. There's no question of that. But Thomas Edgar is on another level altogether. Mazerski is going to be strapped up and will be sent back out onto court. Russia do have other middles to choose from. They could have Igor Filipov and Ilya Vlasov. Filipov, we have seen. They don't have, though, Inal Tavasiev, number 25 middle blocker, was on the score sheet for this week in terms of the squad. Russia only bringing 13 players to Sofia, but only 12 have made it out for this first match. Still no news as yet on why Tavasiev is not playing. Mazerski becomes ever more valuable as a result of that, with only 3 middle blockers available. Second set getting underway. It's Australia who'll have the serve. Russia leading 1-0 here in Sofia. Nice recovery. Bakun, fortunately, it came his way. A nice block out from Russia. So just as they started the first set, Russia start the second set in the same way with the opening point. Richards back on court for Australia through the outside. That should be 2 touches, surely. Or perhaps the first given as an attack, but it was blocked back, and then I guess playing it with the foot's okay, because it was Australia deemed to have the last touch, but Australia it is who take the point. Clever play from Russia to keep it going, but in the end it's Australia who have the ball, as that one goes off of Mazerski and out of court. Fine margins between success and failure. Coaches won't mind an aggressive error if you're going for it, trying to make something happen as opposed to trying not to make a mistake. The entire Russian squad play their volleyball in Russia. It's one of the big leagues in the world of volleyball. That's an attacking error from Sanderson. Has to take off from behind the white line as he's a backcourt player. Mustn't step on it or over it. There is talk at the top level that there may be some changes, or certainly some changes being aired about the game of volleyball for the men in terms of the jump serve and the back row attack, saying that if you take off from behind the baseline for a jump serve, you have to stay behind it, and the same if you take off from behind the 3-meter line for a back row attack, you also have to land behind it. Plenty of debate on that and how good or bad it would be for the game. Kliuka over the top of Peacock. That's a good mismatch for Russia. And that's where the simplicity of volleyball comes into play. If you've got a big attacker against a small blocker, give it to the big attacker. There you have it, Kliuka all over Peacock, who had no chance. Mazerski yet to get a ball in from service in this match. That's better from him. And that is an excellent swing from Williams to find the line. A good example of why the left-handers are more suited to being on the right side of court, because they can open up that kind of angle with the way that they open their body up to the net. That's why the right-handers are normally better on the left side of court, which is why when you see some left-handed outside hitters, it looks a little bit awkward. They make it work. Bakun making it work for Russia, an opposite who's right-handed. Again, good news, Klioka wiping it off of the block of Peacock that time. Klioka plays his volleyball for Fakel in Russia. Oh, Peacock beyond. Yes, you can see, frustrated with that one because it went through his arms. Great defense by Russia. And that's off the hands, is it? They're looking for touches. And they've got it. Easier just to admit to it than to waste time going to a challenge if you know you've touched it. That one coming off of Bo Graham. Williams with some work to do. And just the free ball. Good up by Richards. Clever from Peacock, but well watched by Russia. Now a better chance for Australia. 3 attackers. But good blocking from Russia. And they'll get 3 out here to Sanderson. And he's put that one into the antenna. We head to the technical timeout. Russia leading 8-4 and by 1-0.
Припай по края. Середины практически нет. Внимательно на края. Все, хорошо,
Hit our spots, guys. We have to hit our spots. Okay, and when you make 4 plays in one rally, great plays in one rally, and the other team still scores, you make 4 great plays in one rally. Okay? Let's go.
Make as many great plays as you like, and that's the point that Mark Leverage is making. It doesn't mean anything. You've got to convert them. At least convert one of them. That was a great play. That was a great swing from Williams. He's doing well, and he's been given the space to work with. A couple of times, Australia against the big block, haven't tried to go block out or work the block, but try to find gaps in it, and that's been a problem, especially when they try to find the line on the left side of court. Oh, another big swing from Williams. A little bit too much movement by Kavashov, the libero. Huge, huge middle attack from Russia. That's where they have a massive advantage. And when the pass is right, and you can do that, well, not even Bo Graham could stop that one from Blazov. Well watched by Richards, good lead by Australia. Sanderson. Sanderson plays his volleyball for Sportif du Sahel in Tunisia. The entire Australian squad play their volleyball abroad throughout Europe. which means getting them together for camps is relatively straightforward, normally held somewhere in Europe. So have a look at the match stats so far for Kliuka. Everybody moving for Australia. And a nice swing from Richards, who's wrapped the hands of the block to get the ball out of play. Get it off Kobshar. Didn't look to be too fat. He's got it off of, wasn't Kobshar. Got it off the Kapukov, who's just feeling that. Russia get the side out, keeping themselves in front. It's almost a rather laboured approach from Russia, isn't it? They're kind of lumbering along here in this second set, much in the same way they did in the first. They know they've got a few more gears they could go to. Mustn't get complacent, though. They could find themselves in trouble. They've only had one win, or one loss, I should say, so far. That's an excellent block. That's more like it from Russia. They're 2-1 so far in the VNL. Kliuka was miles up, and at this level, not only have you got to get up, then you've got to get across before the attacker can hit the ball. That one will stay in play. Russia looking to shut down Australia properly, and they can't do it. Richards, at the second time of asking, gets block out. Russia beat Canada 3-0, they beat Korea 3-0, but then they lost to Poland in Poland 3-0. It's all been straight sets so far for them. Australia, well, they've lost to Japan 3-1, they lost to Iran 3-0, and they lost to France 3-0 in week 1. That was in Rouen in France. Filipov giving Mazerski a rest. Filipov coming in to serve. Place for Ural. There's 32 caps coming into this week's VNL. A relative newcomer to the team. Oh, a double touch eventually called against O'Day. The philosophy of the referees is to let the ball fly. But there has to be some semblance of control. And at 14-9, it's Australia trailing in this set, call the timeout.
All you have to do is make your shot. Keep pumping the long ball whenever you have the opportunity. Okay, guys, we build one at a time. Guys, we have our chances. We have our chances. We need to look after the ball better when it's on our side.
3 times we've already beaten them in high ball, eh? We can kill them. Let's go, Lincoln, and smack it. Let's go, lads.
Filipov with the serve then for Russia. They're building up a healthy lead in this second set. Huge, huge hit from Kliuka. Russia knew it was in, he knew it was in. Australia think it was out. Maybe a challenge coming. It's funny, isn't it? The players having to turn around to see that, whereas the line judge who's looking down the line gave it as in straight away. We have a challenge. One thing that we've seen with the challenge system is just how much the ball compresses down onto the floor, which you don't see with the naked eye, but you see it with the challenge system. We're going to see the representation, but the ball mark itself is a visual representation of how much that ball is squished down, and it squishes almost to its circumference. Great shot from Kliuka. Another challenge lost for Coach Lebedew. He still has one in this set. Coaches get 2 challenges per set. If you win them, you keep them. Good serve that from Richards. This will be a free ball for Australia. And a good put away from Sanderson. Tidy volleyball for Australia, all off the back of a tough serve. That meant Russia had to give the ball back to Australia. So it's always advantage for Australia in that rally off the back of that tough serve. Richards looking to try and do it again. Second technical timeout reached, Russia leading by 5.
Парни, подачу подаем. Просто надо отдать мяч туда. Внимание.
The other team maybe will make a change, and especially got to watch out that these guys will reach with their hands. Okay, against Kliuka, we block proper cross. Okay, proper cross. Make sure whatever junk that comes, we have to hold well. Okay, we don't move our hands, we stay in position.
Serwis do Rusji, 16-11.
Bakken has had a bit of a, well, I'd say a bit part really in this match so far. And for the go-to player, the opposite player of a team, that's not what you would expect. Monster, absolute monster of a spike. And we talk about monster box. When you can jump that high and hit that kind of an angle, how do you deal with that? It's just incredible from Kliuka. New player on court. Kapukov has done his job for Russia. And it's Alexander Markin coming in now, number 10. Very nice from Sanderson. Again, showing cross court, telling the block that's where the power's coming. They try and take that away, leave him enough room to hit the line, and he hits over his shoulder. That's wonderful spiking. At the moment, Australia are unable to back up what they're doing when they get the ball. They get side out. Russia have been siding out pretty much straight away, and then it's Russia who have taken more of their opportunities from service. Oh dear, Bakken holds his head. It's good from Kobzai, says, don't worry about it, son, it's okay. But it wasn't really, that's a dreadful ball, isn't it? To give Williams a free swing. Excellent pass. That was a wonderful serve. Good up from Peacock. Good up by Bakun. Udier jump. Oh, goodness me. Well, Bakun thought he could jump a lot higher than he obviously can. And we just lost that ball. He'll say he lost it in the lights. Whatever. He won't want to see it again. But we can. He's jumped way too early. And Bakun is going to go and have a little think about what he's just done as he's substituted out. Chance for Australia to get back to within one. And they've done that. Richards with a rasping hit. Russia have called timeout.
Все, что требуется. Мы сами очень много ошибаемся. Почетче, внимание.
Russia's replacement for Bakun is Romanis Shkuliavicius, number 19. Shkuliavicius plays for Nova in Russia, the only player from Nova in the squad. Only one player from Zenit in the squad, that's Pankov, who's not come on court yet. From Dynamo, it's Alexander Markin, who's now on court, but the rest of the squad from various places, Kuzbas and Belagori making up the majority of the squad for this one. Oh, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The backcourt pipe being run to perfection by Kliuka, overloading the middle. Australia are going to challenge. They believe that Kliuka towed the 3-meter line. If he did, it'll be a foot fault. But the whole purpose of that pipe attack is you get the middle running in quick close to the setter. That means the middle blocker has to jump. Well, does jump, and if they do, they're on their way down then as the pipe is coming in from Kliuka. And if you have a really tall middle blocker like Mazerski, what you then have to do is you run the middle into him. Oh, he's miles behind it. He could have been a little bit closer. So when you have a big middle blocker and you're trying to run the pipe and they can make a double jump, you run it away from where the middle's going, so that means the middle blocker would have to make a lateral movement and couldn't get there quickly enough. And despite the fact that Russia are able to put 2 blockers against Richards, he's able to get it on the floor. Middle block going too far out. Serving substitution for Australia as on comes Thomas Hodges. Hodges, an opposite player, coming in for a bit of serving. Another big hit from Kliuka. As Russia's kind of changing their pattern of attacking as this set goes on, and indeed as this match goes on. They started just running, it was the middle, and then some more middle, then a little bit of opposite, bit of wide, and now they are going on the pipe attack with Kliuka. Williams has got the point for Australia. It looked like it had gone wide, must have caught the block as it went wide. Definitely a chance for Australia in this set. A serving run would do very nicely indeed. Williams with the ball. Ace serve! Well, this could be the start of something good here. Australia have levelled. Or have they? Russia challenging.
Challenge за Русия. Русия ще успорва. Да видим дали топката
Good time to challenge as well, really. If anything, you get yourself a little timeout, a little bit of a breather, and if it works, from 20 all, you're now 21-19. Oh, and it is out! Great challenge. And this set now swings right back in Russia's favour. Instead of 20 all, it's 21-19 for Russia. Filipov with the serve. He stayed on since subbing in for Muzeski, who had his ankle strapped up at the beginning of this set. That's a massive block, absolutely huge. That's a double monster block from Russia. Well, haven't you seen enough? Timeout called by Australia.
We go to 18 and we cross on 18. Okay, real cross. Okay, guys, one side out here.
Good covering by Sanderson. Quick ball out for Richards, but Russia getting to it. But there might be a chance now. That's a great touch. In the block by Russia to give them a chance. Oh my goodness me! That's straight out of the NBA, not the VNL. That was incredible from Kliuka. We all know Engapeth's got some skills, but so too's Kliuka. Look at that! Ping! Down it goes. Engapeth, one of the French maverick, and comes up with all kinds of shots, and a joy to watch. And Kliuka showing a little bit of skill. Oh, goodness me, nothing quite going right for Australia at the moment, as the ball will not hit the floor. Another opportunity. Williams. And he's not found the court either. They're looking for touches. They might challenge for a touch. Kliuka has a look through the net and says, "Niet." I didn't touch that. This was indeed a mega rally. Australia had so many chances. They got lucky, really, Russia. Markin got hit on the shoulder. But then there was another dig, that one not catching Kliuka as it went past him. At least it didn't look like it caught his forearm. The thing is, there's no point arguing or challenging the ref. Just call a challenge if you think that there was a touch. And the upshot of all of that, it's set point for Russia to go 2-0 up. That was a good view, wasn't it, of a screen that's not a screen. Trying to make it difficult for Richards to see the ball now. He's got to get past the three blockers. He can't do that. Russia take the set. 25-19. They lead Australia 2-0 here in Sofia. Massive block from Kliuka, who arrived fashionably late to shut down Richards. Just looking at that replay again, so Richards trying to hit the floor. He knows he's going to have three blockers. Really have to try and take that block on, go high hands, see what happens. tail of the second set. 10 points gifted to Russia. Australia with no service points or block points. Russia 1 set away from victory here in Sofia, if they can maintain their concentration. Here are the stats from returned and unreturned serves, giving to Aspire the challenge just to look at that. So unreturned in terms of where Russia hit the ball, but what would be really good to know about this is from where in the court those were hit. If they've been hit from the middle, from the left or from the right, it certainly would help to see where the big threat is, wouldn't it? But here are the highlights from the set. Set 3 underway, Russia leading by 2 sets to nothing. And it's Australia who have the opening point. First time in the match they've taken the opening point from a set. A few changes for them as well. Oh, Graham gets the ball on the floor. Peacock's gone off and Dosanjh has come in as the replacement setter for Australia. Graham now with the serve. Markin staying on court for Russia, and so too is the opposite player, Shikulivicius. Wozerski going to stay off court as the ball is put away on that B-quick by Igor Vilipov. So a few changes for both teams. Australia know this is a must-win set for them. Nice work from Williams to find that cross-court angle.
VNL, service Australia. Williams the service.
It's important here for Australia to take every chance they can muster, keep the pressure on Russia as much as is humanly possible. So far, Russia have only called one timeout. in this match. It's always a good indication you're doing well. Nice pick-up from Markin, who's come out of nowhere. Kliuka having to go with his left hand, and he's right-handed, and he still gets the ball on the floor. Kliuka is a righty. Look at that, what a change, great technique. And a good put away. Some of us mere mortals would struggle to hit the ball that hard with our proper arm. That was a good pick up, that rally, which gave Russia the chance to get the point. That one could have gone absolutely anywhere. When it hits the top of the net like that, it really is a lottery as to where it's going to go. Australia pleased it didn't come over. Richards back to the serving line. This is more like it from Australia. A couple of errors from Russia. And then suddenly, you're back in the game. Richards to serve again. Always a danger when you change your personnel. You lose your momentum, you lose the fluidity within the team, and then it just becomes a little bit frustrating for the coach. However, Russia have Kliuka to go to if they're in trouble. So far, so good for Australia. They are keeping the lead. They may well go into the first technical timeout with a lead. That'll be the first time in the match that they've done that. Dosanjh unable to make an impact from the serving line, and you just saw him imitating the throw, so that's what he believes was the issue with his serve. When you see a player after they make an error imitate a certain part of an action, as a coach that tells you what their mind thought, what their process, what they're thinking about was the problem. It may be something completely different. Oh, that's just going to be okay. Richard stayed on his side of the net, didn't go right over. That's tight, and that's a net fault in the end from Williams, who was forced too close to the net. Nowadays, you have to have your whole foot completely over the centre line for it to be a fault. And actually, you could fall over and land on the other side, as long as your feet were on yours. It wasn't a problem. That was a problem, though, for Williams as he put his hand in the net. Has just turned things around in Russia's favour, and Australia had the chance to go in front At 8-5, they find themselves heading into the technical timeout. 8-7 down. Russia have the ball into transition. That's a great pickup by Perry. It's outside the antenna, has to come back outside the antenna. It's done that. And now Richards pops it through the antenna. Free ball again, Russia. This time the middle is the option, but Australia slow it down, and when Williams gets block out. Great rally from Australia. And it was all to do with that chase, bringing the ball back into play. Taking their medicine, but then getting into transition again, and Williams this time getting the point. Oh dear. Richards pops up on the overpass, but what a block that is for Russia. Kobzar shutting down Richards. Excellent pass. And that allows Australia to run their first meaningful pipe. Sanderson puts the ball on the floor. That time being run behind the setter and in between the two blockers. Marking was having to wait for Williams and then can't get in to help out Filipov. Off-paced attack doesn't bother Australia. They got a chance to go in front here. Good up by Kliuka. Williams again, and he's got block out this time. Australia, after that first technical timeout, have got themselves back in front in the second third of this third set. Break it into threes, race to 8, race to 16, race to 25. Huge, huge hit from Markin. Didn't even appear to open his shoulders for that one. Looked very dismissive. Markin's only got 18 caps coming in. To this, born in 1990, plays for Dynamo in Russia. Getting his opportunity for the national team. Such strength in depth in Russian volleyball. When you think that there are 8 players not here, well, of those 8, they'd all be competing for a first 6 place. Good up by Kobzar. Great blocking from Australia to put down Kliuka. Russia always on the back foot, knew it was going to either get 3 blockers up, and it's Dosanjh who makes the block. Williams. Well, he looked close to the baseline with his foot. Play continues. Nice recovery, that. And Kliuka gets it off of Dosanjh this time, and Russia have their side out. Dosanjh still feeling that one off of Kliuka's spike. Nice work. Dosanjh's front court. He jumped. And Vlasov just looked at him. And then has a look through the net as he's been embarrassed by Dosanjh. Big shout from the libero Sokolov to take that one. Good defense by Richards. Williams is looking for a touch. He's not going to get it, so they might go to challenge, and they are. He's convinced it was off the block as it went wide. Good hustle by Richards. Williams saying straight away, touch. All eyes on the big screen above the centre of the court. The challenge team and the challenge referee having a look at the pictures provided by the cameras all around the court. Cameras that provide up to 250, 260 frames per second. Put that into context, regular television's 25 frames per second. So they get a very detailed look at the ball and the impact that it makes or doesn't make. I'll tell you what, that doesn't look like it's touched him from that angle, does it? Well, they've called a touch, and I'll tell you why it doesn't look so great on that screen is because when it gets amplified up, it doesn't look so great. But it would have been very clear in high definition in the challenge team's room that they could see exactly that caught the block. He's a good referee, just checking all is right, because they have to just reverse the score slightly to make sure that that's correct, which they've now done. 14-11 for Australia, biggest lead they've had so far in a set, certainly in the match. Ace serve from Richards. That was brilliant. He kept his form in the air. He was really straight, taking the ball at its highest point. He didn't buckle forwards. And he's ripped the ball right into the corner of the court. Australia giving themselves a great platform here to go on and potentially take this set. And that time snatching at the ball. Russia don't look too bothered at the moment. They're 3 behind, they lead 2-0. That wasn't a good serve at all by Shkulievicius. He's trying to bury that into the second technical timeout, and Australia lead by 4.
Я не понимаю, один пасует не туда, куда надо, подачу не подаем. Чем мы собираемся? Через сильнейшие стороны. Контроль на подаче. Края играют. Слабый блок. Не надо ничего выдумывать.
Surgery, brain surgery, something different. Keep pushing for every play. Okay, we can see whenever there's some broken play, they have some problems. Make sure on the high ball, especially if we have 3, but on the high ball anyway, you have to crush the line.
Odbora do Rusija vodi se novo treće. Izostava se s 4 točki. Servis za odbora Avstralija.
Well, not overly sure what happened there. O'Day's not either. He certainly won't want to see that one. Although his teammates will be ribbing him about it afterwards, that's for sure. A ball that doesn't even make the net. Excellent pass, options here. Great blocking. Vlasov and Kobzar shutting down Australia, and they're beginning to chip away at this Australian lead. There's Kobzar all on his own, who put the ball down. Kliuka got in the way, but he couldn't keep the ball alive. Better that time from Sanderson.
Servis Australia 17-14.
Dosanjh with a wild serve. Potentially the biggest worry that head coach Mark Levergy will have here for Australia is their consistency to be able to see this one over the line and take the third set. Another block from Russia, another point for them. Closer and closer they creep towards Australia. Filipov just wasn't put under any pressure at all as a middle blocker. Saw that one coming from a mile off. Didn't even look at the middle.
All right, calm, we have another competition. All right, let's be ready for the long ball, okay? 7, and I won't shout it out. We're gonna crowd.
Here we go!
Odbor se vrštena igra. Samo jedna točka razlika. Servis za odbora Rusija.
Vlasov for Russia. No libero, no defensive specialist on court for Russia. Back to old school volleyball. Vlasov, not exactly the most agile of defenders. Australia sided out. Sanderson to the serving line. Richards looking to get into double figures. Chance here in block. And it's an error from Russia. Timeout now called by them. Well, there's a challenge coming actually, not a timeout. They believe it was in, which would spare Shukurevicius's blushes if it is in, that's for sure. They're going for a net touch challenge. Well, the net's moving, and the net was moving already. That's always the problem when a ball hits the net in the rally or off serve or earlier in the rally, and then of course you have the last point and you see the net moving. It's almost something you don't notice in the rally, and you think, oh, someone must have touched it. But no touch. Sanderson with the serve. Australia leading by 3 as we approach the business end of this third set. Dosanjh makes a good dig. This is going to come back cross court, free ball. Libero takes it. 4 attacking options for Russia. And Martin with a massive swing to the line. Russia get themselves to within 2. A very casual attack, this from Markin. Bakun has come back into the action. A little bit more consistency, more height at the net here as Russia try and get back in this set. Richards has got that one in cross court. That's a wonderful swing from the outside hitter for Australia. Well worth another look over the top of Filipov. Markin it will be to serve. Australia's game now really has to be their side-out game. They've just got to keep trading side-outs and they can take the set. Sounds easy. And we're trying to make it look easy. Markin though with the serve for Russia. That's a gift for Australia. Any points from serve now for Australia are bonuses. Oh, there's a big bonus. Williams rips it into Sokolov, and Australia surely are on the verge of getting a set here. Timeout called by Russia. Wonderful serve from Williams. Sokolov with no chance.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything? I am one of those. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just
Williams dispones number 17, Nick Williams.
Williams once again. Not a huge serve. And that's not coming back. It's 2 aces in a row for Williams. It's 2 big points in a row for Australia. And they only need 2 more points to take this set. Markin couldn't keep that in play. It's too far away for Kobshar.
Williams na servis.
Williams looking for his hat-trick. Of course, another belter. It's going to be a free ball here for Australia. That goes down. And now Australia have set point.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Nice work through the middle from O'Day. Williams for the set. Kluka gets it in. And he gets blocked. Dosanjh puts it down. Australia take the 3rd set. It's game on here in Sofia. Russia leading 2-1. Delight for the Australian coaching staff. 25-18. A really good third set for Australia. To have a look at the stats. But the big key, the biggest change, I guess, perhaps in Australia's fortunes was bringing on Arshdeep Dosanjh in the setting position. Expect him to start in set 4. So those are the spike hit points down the line and cross court for Australia. Cross court being the place to go for them so far. Now, is this a case of Australia have just woken up the sleeping bear? Will Russia respond by bringing out the big guns? Will Muzeski come back out onto court? Or does the coach say, no, you guys got yourself into this mess, now you guys get yourself out of it? No surprise, Dosanjh starts set 4. Made a very positive impact for his team coming in to replace Harrison Peacock, the setter for Australia. Indeed, Muzeski's back, no surprise really. Set 4 underway. Sanderson with the serve for Australia. Trailing Russia 1-2. Oh, very bright start for Australia. They take the first point of set 4. Dare I say it, the team that's taken the first point of each of the sets so far has gone on to win it. Huge block, monster block from Graham. Shot. Another big swing from Williams. Right now, every time Australia get the ball past the block, Russia's second line of defence isn't working. Well watched by Richards, he'll get it back. No one covering directly behind, and Graham now standing in that position knows he should have been there already. Sanderson's in short, but there's nobody covering deep behind. Well watched by Dosanjh. Oh, good up, but it won't stay in play. Kobjar in the way of it. Australia are playing well. Mega rally, which Australia win. Australia definitely in the zone at the moment in this game. A team that haven't beaten Russia in 10 previous tries. Could this be their day? Into transition. Oh, that was a cheeky from Dosanjh. That looked like it was going long. Williams tidies it all up, and Australia now lead 5-2. Williams is the go-to man for Australia at the moment. It's important here, Williams just keeps his focus, keeps his concentration. Waiting for that whistle so he can get into his pre-serve routine. You get 8 seconds to serve the ball once the referee blows the whistle. Ace serve from Williams. He was definitely focused, definitely in the zone. What a good start this is for Australia in the 4th set. And Russia it is who call timeout. Mazeski looks rather nonplussed by it all at the moment for Russia. They were going great guns, leading 2-0, and then Australia have bounced back into this match. It's another ace from Williams, who's taken this team by the scruff of the neck and dragged them into this game. They've got a 5-point lead. It's all going rather well. That is a wonderful serve. Another belter. Sends Kobjar scrambling off the net. Perry makes a good dig. Lovely, running the middle in transition. O'Day gets the ball down. And we head into the technical timeout, and Russia really don't know what's hit them. Australia lead 8-2.
On the high ball block, Okay, now we have to stay disciplined in this moment. Okay, on the next Bible block.
Който да помогне на Австралия това да обърнат мача. Австралия-Русия 8-2. Отново Уилямс на сервис.
Williams for Australia. First chance to get Muzeski away, and Russia take it. See how high he gets that ball, no one getting anywhere near him. Muzeski looking to back up his last hit with a decent serve. That's not going to happen. There might be a challenge coming though. Russia think the ball caught the baseline. And they're right, it's an ace from Muzeski.
Muserski na servis.
Oh, another big serve. Richards with some work to do. Muzeski getting in on the defensive action, and now Kliuka. Good work by Williams. Another chance here for Russia. Kliuka again, and this time he makes sure of it as he dispatches that ball cross court. He meant that one. Perry looks to hold his ground. It just came at him so quickly, he couldn't deal with it.
Servis Australia. Richards na servis. 9-5.
Couple of gifts for each team, and the scoreboard ticks over. Still though in Australia's favour, they lead by 3. Bakun going to try and reduce the deficit Russia have. Well, that was close. A good leave from Australia. Good up. Well watched by Kobzar. Bakun, oh dear, not a good set for him to have anything he could do meaningful with it. Might be a better chance now though for Russia. Kliuka tries block out, denied. Not get another swing. This time he goes high hands and gets the point. Both teams out of system in that rally, which means both teams didn't have all of their options available. And Kliuka doing the right thing, just trying to work the block instead of trying to work the floor. Massive serve from Kliuka. Russia coming back into the set, but they were coming back into the last set for most of it, but still, it was Australia who saw it over the line. And now it's Australia who called timeout.
All right, so we keep it on our side. All right, we get into the rallies, guys. On the rallies, we always have a shot. All right, 6 against Kliuka. On the fast ball, 6 can go onto the right, because he's going to go past or off the line guy. Yes.
Well, how on earth did that come back over the net? Somehow it did. And now it's Russia through Bakun, who get the ball down. That was a some get to bring it back into play by Graham. And some hit from Bakun onto Richards. And that was the coach saying there's no way the ball could have got back into play. Williams gets it off the block in a way, so Australia get their side out. They lead only by 2, though. That may not be enough. Strong rotation for Australia. Dosanjh into the back row, Williams into the front row, 3 front court attackers, plus a back court option, so they have a chance to overload Russia's block if they can get a decent pass in and stay insistent. They'll have that opportunity now. Graham puts it in, 4 attacking opportunities. Oh, but it is just a monster block by Russia to shut Williams down. It was getting a little congested on that side, and in hindsight, maybe a quick ball out wide would have been the answer. Easy to say that now, but that was some block from Russia. Graham slows it down, kept in play. It was a crazy rally. He just thought, right, there's a chance here, volleyed over, 4 options available, goes behind, and just a huge block by Karpukov to shut down Williams. Just watch, he knows what's coming behind. He was off, he was already going, and Dosanjh didn't see that. Vlasov. Graham almost got in everybody's way. Another big block, this time Muzerski working with Karpukov. Unforced error from Williams, as it doesn't catch Kobzar's hands. Russia are back level. This is a worry now for Australia. They are challenging it though. Muzerski saying it was nowhere near me. Question is, did it touch Kobzar? We'll have an answer shortly. Didn't touch anybody. Not a bad challenge though from Australia's point of view, just trying to slow the game down a bit as Russia have got themselves back in front. Trying to take any momentum out of Russia. Well, that's good defense from Kliuka. Good up by Richards. And a fantastic put away from Williams. He splits Russia's defense. And Australia are back level. Good up that was. And then Williams actually the first point of attack, putting 2 Russian players on the floor in the process. Sanderson. Good leave that from Kliuka. That looked more in than out. But the referee in agreement with the lines judge. Kamazhov saying, yeah, it was that far out. Kobzar will serve now. Russia into a strong set of rotations. Bakun and Muzerski in the front row, along with Karpukov, who scrambles to get that back in play. Good work by Kliuka. A lucky point, that one for Australia. On a couple of levels. One, because Karpukov made the error, but also because Dosanjh put the ball in front. He should have gone behind because Karpukov wasn't even ready. Williams without a free swing. As it is, an error from Karpukov gives Australia the point. Tactical serve from Graham, not to tactically serve it out, but he was trying to put the ball in the area at position 1. It's just ended up being a free point for Russia. Kliuka now into the front row for Russia. Still 3 front court attackers for the team in white. Plus possibly Karpukov, who we haven't seen hit any back attacks in the match so far. Williams, we've seen hit plenty of aces. Has he got another? I'd say up his sleeve, but he hasn't got any. Oh, and he's got an ace though, courtesy of the net. That's the sorry, not sorry. When the rule first changed that the ball could hit the net and still continue on and be part of the rally if it stayed in play, everyone was apologising for this. Now it's like, yep, ace. No apology necessary. Oh, it's another. Oh, is it? Oh, no, it isn't. Oh, that looked close. The lack of reaction from Russia kind of gave the impression it was in, but Williams unable to build on his last ace. Now Muzerski with the serve. Russia's block doing what it does best, slowing the ball down. Kliuka, fantastic. That's wonderful. Kliuka had to get from one side of the court to the other. Wasn't in the great position to have an attack, but still gets the block to work for him by putting it down their side. And we head into the second technical timeout. Russia leading by a point and by 2 sets to 1.
You're above everybody. In the same way, Lincoln is stronger than everybody, you're higher than everybody. It's really simple. Guys, okay, when the spiker goes to tip, our response in the block is to complete the block exactly as we would every other way. Okay, that's the response.
That was the work from Kliuka for the last point. Got himself out wide, just runs out, tries then to get in rhythm, and quickly gets it off a still moving block that wasn't finished. Muzerski for Russia. Hard to imagine him missing a serve, really, when you're 2 meters 18 and you're touching the ball in the high ends of the 3 meter mark towards the 4 meter mark. You'd expect it, you know, it's almost 1.5 times the height of the net to be getting it over, but that's the nature of volleyball. There's so many moving parts to a jump serve, not least of all the ball. And arriving at the same time with everything where it should be, sometimes a little more difficult than we think. Russia go through the middle with Vlasov. Wonderful blocking again from Russia. And this is the thing that Sanderson and Richards both know as outside hitters, that they are going to have to deal with a big block more often than not. It does mean as well you're not necessarily looking to try and put this on the floor. Indeed, Sanderson making sure it went in. Australia looking to rebuild their block defense. They're saying that didn't catch the block. There might be a challenge coming. There might be. Kapukov it was who had the swing. Challenge has been requested. Dosanjh was convinced that he hadn't touched it. He's now going back ready to serve. He's got the ball. Russia standing there like they're expecting somebody to take a penalty. There'll be a celebration. Did it catch anyone? Well, it says no touch. It didn't look like it caught Dosanjh. And it's Australia who take the point. And there's a little change up for Australia. So Peacock has come in for Dosanjh and he's on to serve. Good up by Richards. Peacock keeps it in play. Oh, what a point that is! Incredible. Hard work and perseverance paying off for Australia. Watch number 2, Vlasov for Russia. As this comes over, where's he going? Right into everyone's way. Let the ball come over and then follow it back. Nice work by Kapukov. For those of you that are learning the game, and it's really important that when you're in the front row and you're getting a free ball situation, as we saw in the point just before this one, stay at the net, let the ball come over, and then if you follow the ball back, it means the back row know they're going to pass it. If you're moving back with the ball, like Vlasov did, you're going to get in people's way, and then that caused the confusion. And not only that, actually, Vlasov could have probably blocked that ball. Good covering by Perry. Williams again. And that's really good. It's always tricky on the left-hand side of court for the left-handers. Williams does very well to work the block. Dosanjh back into the action. Peacock, who only came on for serving duty. Chases on, Sanderson just a little too slow. You'd expect that the player playing deep at 6, Sanderson and Richards, are in what you might call a tennis-style defense, so that they can go chasing after that. He was so close, wasn't he? Come sharp. Williams was going for an angle that just wasn't available. And Russia now open up a 2-point lead. Timeout called by Australia.
Boys on a push. Boys on a push. Okay, make sure you get some separation here. All right, and then just hit lines. Okay, just hit it back to one. Go.
That was the angle that Williams wanted to go for. He knew he needed to go cross-court. The line was completely sealed. It's a bit tight, too tight. Dos Anjos back row. He's not allowed to go up and play the ball. He's not allowed to block an attack either. And that was a free swing for Muzeski. And if it had touched Dos Anjos, it came back over as he was above the height of the net. Australia would have lost the point straight away as well. Kobjar to serve again. Richards works the block. But is it a little too late here for Australia? They need a run of points here. Russia side it out. They'll have match point. They do indeed side out, and Bakun hammers it off of Richards. Russia now have 3 match point opportunities. Off goes Hone. His serving duty over. Karpukov comes in to serve. Kliuka into the front row. It's a massive lineup in the front row for Russia. Richards with work to do. Oh, and he's done that magnificently well. Arguably Russia's biggest block was about to get in front of him, but only 2 players went up. And would you believe it, he's found a gap between Bakun and Muzeski. He's worked the seam. Williams, a player with the ball who could make something happen. Russia scrambling. Kliuka for the match. Kept in play by Perry. That's a bit tight. It's too tight. Muzeski puts it down. Russia take the set. 25-22. And they win the game by 3 sets to 1 over Australia. The winning streak continues for Russia over Australia, 11-0. And the losing streak in the VNL continues for Australia, who have now lost 4 in a row. Some moments of greatness for a team mixing it with the big boys in the Volleyball Nations League, but still some work to be done. Plenty of positives that Australia can take from the game, but the consistency and unforced errors were an issue in the end. The height and the power of Russia coming good. High fives all round for the Russian team then as they take the match by 3 sets to 1. With good sporting spirit being shown as they applaud the crowd.
Most of the second set, all of the third, most of the fourth, we just played and play. Okay, and then of course in some moment, and this time, got some pressure from them. They changed the way they played. Okay, bye.
So a little bit of a chat still being given by Australia's head coach. The guys played well, they had some great volleyball. When they did just play with fluidity, it was excellent to watch. Here are the stats from the game overall. Russia outscoring Australia 93 points to 84. But in terms of errors given, Australia gave Russia a set and a half. And Russia gave Australia a set. Williams will be buoyed with his service aces. The biggest contributor to the 8 points that Australia scored from the serving line. But Russia's block dominating in the end with 11 compared to Australia's 4. Here are the highlights then from the match. A great result for Russia. They've beaten Australia by 3-1. And coming up shortly, we will have Bulgaria against Serbia. We hope you can join us for that. But however, this is the end of the broadcast. Thanks for being part of the game.